Hi there, Natalie with you today with a new process video for Pinkfresh Studio. And today I'm going to create my first layout using the Simple Things collection. This collection is designed by Ina Mureba, but it was inspired by Kathleen. So I love the colors. There's a dog in here. There's coffee, which are some of my favorite things in the world. And I love the fact that it has some really bright, there's a lot of graphic design in it. It has some florals, but I really love the colors, and I thought that I wanted to create something very graphic, something very masculine using this collection. So the paper that caught my eye is this paper here. There's a 12x12 version, but I'm gonna use the 6x6 paper pad version of it because I want to use the two of them to help me create something that is symmetrical. So my idea is I want to deconstruct this paper to construct something else with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much fussy cut the paper, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate the strips or the little chevrons or the little lines, whichever you want to call them, into each different pieces. So you're gonna see that I'm using a pair of scissors, and I'm gonna carefully just separate each color. Like it's gonna look like an L. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that they don't end up in a straight corner. They actually have a little curve at the corner, so I'm gonna be careful. And my idea, you're gonna see right now, is that I'm gonna like separate them, and then I'm gonna stack them, kind of give them a little bit of dimension to this page. So I went ahead and did that with the two 6x6 papers that come in the pad. So now that I have them separated, I'm going to show you how I'm going to put them back together. So for that, I'm going to help myself with a piece of vellum. I have I have attached it onto my mat using a little bit of washi tape. I just want to make sure that why I'm using vellum is because I want to create this, it's going to look like a little V of like paper strips, but I want to make sure that I can move it around until I come up with the perfect design. So vellum is a great medium, one thing. Second thing, the translucency of the vellum is going to help me with setting my paper strips in a kind of a strayish design. They're not going to be crooked, but they're going to help me see towards, they're going to help me see the grid that I have on the mat, and that's going to help me keep the strips a little bit straighter than just gluing them, together. Now, the only thing as I was gluing this is that I realized that when I create this design, because I'm stacking them, I'm moving the positioning of the V's as I glue them together. They're not gonna be sitting right next to each other. They're gonna be a little bit on top of each other. So when I'm doing that, I am going to create a little space underneath the area that is not on top of the other paper. So my idea is I'm gonna have to add shims behind that to keep my paper straight. So what I did is I had a piece of cardstock on the side, and I just trimmed it into strips of, I think it's around 1/2 inch to 3/8 of an inch. I just went ahead with my guillotine and just cut strips. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it right just right next to it, because I can't say the word right now. The inner part of the L. And that's going to do is that when I adhere the next L shape onto it, because remember, I'm going to glue it a little bit on top of the previous one, it's not going to dip towards the center, but it's going to remain at the same level. So that's what I'm using, those little pieces of white cardstock, and that's what the vellum is going to help me with, creating this separate pieces into one piece that is all together and I can move around. So I'm gonna take my time. I did that to all of my pieces. You're gonna see that towards the end I just decided to add the little piece of the white cardstock towards the center part of the L, the inner part of the L or the chevron strip, whatever you want to call it, and then glue it onto the vellum. Now, like I said, I did the two papers. So now I need to separate them from the vellum and then have them as separate pieces that I can play with. So all I'm going to do is just take a pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut in, I'm going to kind of cut in an angle underneath the paper strips so that I cut the part of the vellum that is underneath the strips, and just at the ends. You're going to see right now. I have like this weird shape. It's not a rhomboid. It's just a weird shape, but it looks like a corner. It looks like a V, and I love what it looks like. The only thing that I added outside of the camera is, I think I saved the little corners. The 6x6 had like the first strip that I took out. It has like a straight edge. I saved it and I glued it outside of the camera. And I kept the little pieces that came in the center, those little cream ones. I kept them there on the side. I'm going to glue them once my idea is together. And you're going to see that I play with a few ideas. I auditioned so many positions. I had an idea. It didn't gel. Sometimes you have ideas and until you don't see them on the paper, they don't gel. But as I was playing with, these little pieces, I realized that the best idea to add the dimension, add the graphic look that I'm going for is to create a frame. So for that, I'm going to need a ruler. And I'm choosing white cardstock for my background because it's going to make this pop a lot. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a frame at around 1 3/8 from each side of the white cardstock, because that's going to give me the perfect center for the frame of the teal L's, whatever you want to call them. Like, honestly, I don't even know what the exact name that would be. So I'm gonna go use my pencil and my ruler just to help me create the frame. The reason I'm just not gonna go ahead and glue it straight onto the cardstock is because I want to create that frame with pencil on my cardstock as a guide to where everything is gonna sit. For me to sell the idea of this design being very graphic, I have to make sure that none of my embellishments or anything stays outside of the frame that I created. So for me, it was better to just pencil the line, and that's going to help me with gluing everything in place too, and then help me as a guide through everything. So like I said, the first frame that I'm going to create is around 1 3/8 from each of the edges of the paper. And once I had that, it was actually pretty simple. But once I drew that, I went ahead and carefully just went and added quite a bit of tape and glued my little chevron paper to diagonally opposed corners of the frame. You're gonna see right now I have it ready. I'm gonna go ahead and glue them, and I know that my picture is gonna see right on the center. I'm even bringing those cream little pieces just to help me with that. So I'm gonna be very careful, and I'm gonna glue them. And like you're gonna see, I'm gonna add quite a bit of tape towards the L, the outside of the frame. And as I am adding the tape, I'm also erasing that line that is gonna be right at the corner. And once I have those, pretty much my idea is cemented, and I like what it looks like. But then I was thinking I need to bring something onto this page that's going to make this frame stand out a little bit more. So I thought, it has to be something that contrasts this quite a bit. So my idea is I was thinking I need to create something that I'm being redundant. My apologies on that. But something that is going to frame this even further. So my idea is I'm going to create 2 frames right now. And again, I'm going to use my pencil and my ruler. The first frame that I'm creating right now, it's at 5/8 from the outside of my paper. And that's going to frame my layout. And then I want to create a second frame at 3/8 of from each one of the sides of the cardstock, and that little groove in the center is what is going to frame this even further. So I'm going to use my X-Acto knife or my craft knife and the ruler to help me cut the first frame that's at 3/8 from the outside edge, and I want to make sure that I keep it nice and clean because I'm going to use it back on the final layout. And then once I have that, I'm actually going to use my paper trimmer to cut the other one because I know that I'm not going to need that frame. And I usually use my paper trimmer to do this, but I wanted to make sure that I had those super clean edges. So I thought that having an X-Acto knife or a craft knife to cut the first frame was a better idea. So now that I have it, I'm just trimming out the 5/8" frame. And then here's my idea. You're gonna see that I have now that groove in the center where I can actually bring a paper that is gonna make the frame stand out even more. So I went through all the papers and I really love this paper. This has an ombre effect of a rainbow on the background. And I love the look of it, but I wanted something that had even more than that. So one of the things that I love about this collection is that it has a set of washi tapes. One of them has the same colors that you see on the paper, but in I think it's 3/4 of an inch size washi tape. You see, I forgot in 2 seconds. So I thought, maybe I can fill that groove in the frames with washi tape. For one, it is going to be level, and the second one is just going to bring more of the rainbow look onto my background. So I went and pulled another, this is just paper that I had, the 12 by 12 paper is the liner of your albums. You know, when you buy albums and you comes with a liner in your pocket, I saved them and I'm going to use them. The only thing that I was very careful when I run the washi tape, and I run it around, I think it's 1/4 of an inch for the edges, the outer edges of the paper. I was just careful that when I lay my washi tape, the colors landed, especially at the corners, landed in the same tone. So I make sure that I move the tape so I had teal on teal and purple on purple, so that, you know, when I don't have a weird color combination and give me a color that is not in this collection. Once I have that, I just glue back the outer frame and the center back onto the paper, and I have, like, you know, that, like I said, the frame idea for my page. Now all I'm doing right now is just gluing my pictures, and I'm gonna set them in those empty spaces between the V at the top and the bottom of the layout. I went into the ephemera pack, and I really like this it's not a sticker, it's like a die cut that says the simple things. It has the same color as the center, and it has that round corner, so I thought that would work. Now the other thing is, you didn't see outside of the camera that I added that chipboard sticker, and the title uses the alphas. What I'm doing right now is I'm using one of the layer stickers, and I love the sentiment, and I love the fact that it has this kind of square look to it, and it has the little flowers that is in the center, but I don't like the way it's sitting, like, you know, together. So all I did is carefully peel them out and then rebuild it on my layout. And then I added that little kind of stamp seal look, that building, because you're gonna see my kids are in front of the building. Now what I'm gonna use right now, this is the second washi tape that comes in the washi tape set from this collection, and it actually has these little tickets. So I attached it onto white cardstock, and I'm gonna cut a few of them, and I think it's one of the most genius things that you can use, because it's just extra ephemera. So I'm gonna take my time. Like I said, I attached the washi tape onto white cardstock, and I'm just gonna go ahead and fussy cut some of the sayings, and I'm gonna use you're gonna see that I'm going to stay kind of away from a lot of color, because I want that frame, that washi tape frame, to actually bring the color onto my layout. So all I'm gonna do is, you're gonna see at the same time that I'm playing with the position of everything, making sure that nothing is gonna sit outside of that frame that I have you know, on the page that I created with the corners of the papers. So I'm just gonna play with the ephemera so it sits within those limits. And then you're gonna see at the bottom, I'm bringing this little ticket that has like the rainbow look, that is also from the washi tape. So all the little pieces that I just added come from the washi tape. So now I'm gonna move some of the pieces that are here, because I think I need to add more to sell the idea that this frame is connected. So I played with some ideas. I was like, how can I do that? So I went into the enamel dots, and then you're gonna see me do that in 2 seconds. Right, and I'm just moving some pieces. The collection comes with a set of Puffy stickers that had these little tiny kind of enamel dots, so I'm just gonna use them to bring more sentiment and more like pops of colors to my layout. And then, like I said, I wanted something that was gonna give me the idea, not give me the idea, but actually make these two corners come together as if it's one thing. I needed a way to connect it. So whenever I think about connecting, I think of you know, those three little dots that you use, like, you know, under sentences. So I'm gonna create kind of the same idea using enamel dots, and I'm gonna use the cream, the green, and the yellow, because they kind of give you the same idea. And I'm gonna attach them kind of following the line, the outer line of the V on the pencil line, so that it kind of, like, you know, guides your eye to connect to the other side. And then I just added 2 more of those cream enamel dots to where the pictures are sitting in the center. I love how this turned out. Like, love the look of it. I hope you try it. As always, you know, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Check out the collection, and you can check everything. There's links onto everything in the shop in the description of the video. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more beautiful content. Take care, guys.